Let's now add some color to our design, and in particular to the page's background and also changing the text color. And let's start by adding some color to our H1 element by using the color property. So color is simply for setting text color. Now in CSS there are many different ways of defining colors, and one of them is by using one of these basically predefined CSS color keywords. So basically you have one keyword for all of these different colors. And so we can just write one of these keywords here, and then the text will basically get that color. You can write something else like blue, violet in this case. And yeah, so the text then gets that color. However, that's usually not what we do when we define colors in CSS. Usually we use something called the RGB model. So we can write colors like this. We write this sign, and then here we can define 6 different numbers which range from 0 to F. So these are basically special numbers which do not only go from 0 to 9, but from 0 to F. So there are 16 different values, and that's why we say these are hexadecimal values. For example, we can say 2, 3, 4, and then A, B, C. So that would give us this shade of blue right here. Okay. Now in VS Code, actually we can just hover over a color value like this, and then we get this nice color picker from which we can choose. So here we can basically choose this base color, and then here we can define how bright and how dark we want it. Then we just give it a save, and here you see the result. And in fact, here in our data.js, we also had a couple of color values already defined, and you see here that they use exactly this hexadecimal number notation. And if you're wondering what these numbers here actually mean, well, the first 2 numbers are for the amount of red in the color. The second 2 here, so the A and the 3 in this case, so the A and the 3 are for the amount of green in the color, and then the final 2 are for the amount of blue. So any color in CSS is defined by red, green, and blue. And so that's why this is called the RGB model. This color here, for example, has very high values in the red channel. So E and F are like 14 and 15. And so the color is very red, as you can see here. While this one is very blue, as it has large numbers here. Okay, but that doesn't really matter here, so you don't really need to understand that for now. But I thought you might find it curious. Okay, now when we do a real design, we do not simply specify random colors. So we just don't come here and pick a color that we like and call it a day. So usually we go to some predefined color palettes where the designer selected colors that work well with each other. And one of these palettes is called Tailwind colors. So please write Tailwind colors to your Google, and then it is probably right the first one here. So the one that says Tailwind CSS and then customizing colors. So if you find that, please open it. And so here you have these colors that I was talking about. So this color palette. Let's open it up a little bit more. Well, that doesn't really make a difference. But anyway, so here you have different predefined colors for different base colors. So red, orange, amber, all of that. And in fact, this is where all these colors that I have here came from. I simply pre-selected them so that we don't have to now use a lot of time for that. Okay. So what I want to do first now is to define a background color for our page. And remember that we're basically going for this kind of dark look that we have here. So in our base colors here in Tailwind CSS colors, we can go for one of these ones here. And the one that I like the most in this case is Stone, because it has this kind of brown touch, so to say. So to just select one of these colors, we can just click it, or of course, copy the RGB value here, so this hexadecimal number. So just clicked it, and now we need to use it. So going back to our page and to our CSS, we now want to apply this background color to the entire page. So how should we do that? Well, we could apply it individually to the header, to the form, and well, to the main part here. And that would work, but even better, we could simply select the entire visible part of the page, which remember is the entire body element. So let's do that. So the body selector, and now the well-named property of background color. And now just paste it in there, give it a save, and there you go. So that's the same background color as we have here, right? And now let's make the text white, of course, because otherwise we cannot read anything. So let's go back to our tailwind color here. And now I will basically choose the lightest of all. So this one here. So I could simply make the text white as well, but it's better to just keep within this same basically color palette. So we started with this one here or this one. And so now for the white, we use one of these as well. So we want all this text to make white or to be white. So here we already have it, of course. So just paste it in there. And now it's white. And now the same for the fact and for the text. Now we will do this in a better way in the next lecture, but for now let's just roll with it. And beautiful. So that looks quite nice. And actually we can get rid of this part down here, this paragraph. This was just to show you something in the last lecture with the class selector. Remember that? Okay, and now we are almost done. We already know how to work with colors a little bit at this point. So let's just do some final refinements here. So you see that in our final app, actually the box for the facts has a little bit of a lighter background color, and the same for the form. So that should be very easy to do, right? And actually, if you want, you can just pause the video and select one of these colors, probably the next one. So this one here maybe, and then add it as a background color to these two elements. So all of the facts and to the form. So you need to select the form, which we haven't done yet, and then you can add it as a background color if you'd like to do that. Okay, maybe you paused the video and had some fun doing that. So again, I will now use this color here because it's basically the next one in our palette. So copy it, and now starting with the facts, background color, paste and save. And here we go. So of course it doesn't look as nice as the original yet, but we will get to that. Okay, and now for the form. So it's simply this form element, and we could select it simply like that. But for the most important elements on the page, I actually like to give them a class, even if it's only one element. Okay, so we could of course select it directly, again using the form selector, but here I will simply give it the name. So basically the class of fact form. Okay. So I like to place these elements a bit more to the top, or actually a bit more like according to where they also are in the HTML. So then it's easier to find them. So background color again. And you see that actually CSS or VS Code actually is starting to suggest us the colors that we're already using in the file. So these three colors are the ones that we are using. So here, here, and here. And so VS Code is really helpful in telling us that. So we just need to click it, and here we are. So that's how we work with colors. But let's imagine that we have many different text elements to which we need to give this white color, so this white text color. It wouldn't be really nice to having to select all of them and add this color property to them, right? Because it could be 100 elements, and then that would be way too much work. And so in the next video, I will show you a nice solution to that problem.